Stephen A. Smith still joins us from Miami, or as he likes it to be called when he's there, South Beach. And he is affectionately being called for this show the mayor of South Beach. Guys, let's talk about the NFL Network's list of top 100 players. They do this every year, as voted on by the players. They have released the bottom 10 of the top 100. You're looking at it now. You see Tony Romo coming in at number 91. Skip's eyes went right to number 95. Tim Tebow makes the top 100. So, which is the bigger insult? Romo being so low or Tebow being so high?
When you put it like that, I don't really know which one it should be. To me, it's a shame that Tony Romo is this low on the list. The season that he had last year was incredible. When you throw that many touchdowns compared to the number of interceptions, that's hard to do, and it should be appreciated. 102 quarterback rating, those things are overlooked because he has had some mistakes at critical times. I get that. I think it's interesting, though, that Sanchez isn't on this list.
Aha!
Tim Tebow.
And what does that mean?
Because it is the top 100 football player.
Oh, okay.
Complete player.
But you don't think that suggests that Tebow is a better quarterback than Sanchez?
No, I think what it suggests is that they're actually looking at as total football players, and his work as a PP is going to be highly valued.
All right, Stephen A., what do you think?
Well, first of all, let me say it is insulting to Tony Romo from the standpoint that even though we've all been critical of him in the past, he's a good football player. We're just measuring his greatness and lack thereof and looking for something a little extra from him. But I think it's an absolute travesty that Tim Tebow is in the top 500, let alone the top 100. There are 1,664 players in the NFL. 53 per team, 32 teams. 1,664. And you're trying to tell me that Tim Tebow belongs in the top 100? I want names. I want to know every idiotic player that sat there. I want their names. I want to make sure we know exactly who they are. I want us to know what team they work for. Damn it, I want to know where they live. I want to find out who they are, okay? Because I want to know that we want to make sure that when their careers are over, they are never, ever granted the pleasure and the privilege of being on these airwaves talking about football as critics, as pundits, as commentators, as analysts. How in God's name can anybody, and I do mean anybody, I mean anybody, come up with Tim Tebow's name as a top 100 player in the NFL? It is a travesty. It is a joke. It makes no sense, and I'm just starting to wonder now, what in God's name is going on? What is happening to the football that I know and love? National Football League, the way we judge players, the way we analyze them, the way we critique them. We've got to stop this right now. I'm serious. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. I don't even want to talk. You go ahead, Skip. I don't even want to talk about this anymore. It's a joke. I'm not even going to look at you, Skip.
You don't. Okay, number one, to answer the original question, the bigger insult is clearly to Tony Romo. Yet my pet peeve with this list, and I have it every year, is it's a quarterback-driven league. To me, I'm ranking the top 20 quarterbacks as the top 20 players in the league. So Tony Romo is definitely a top 20 quarterback. Would you agree, Coach? Top 20?
I'd say he's in the top 10.
10. He could be. He's on the edge of the top. I was trying to be conservative here. But I'll give you that. Top 10. Okay, so he should be ranked in the top 10 players in the league. And what the travesty is that you continue to disrespect Tim Tebow after all that he accomplished, taking a team to the playoffs last year in his first year of starting and winning a playoff game. That should qualify him as a top 30 quarterback. Clearly, the players think he's better than Sanchez. So I'll be conservative. Top 30. So if he's a top 30 quarterback, he ought to be among the top 30 players. Top 30. Quit reading that newspaper because it's the first time you've read a newspaper in months. You don't read newspapers, and you know it, and I know it. You barely read the internet. I've had enough of you for this show because you know and I know he belongs so much higher than just, what was it, 95th? That's a joke.
Stephen A., is there any of that you would like to respond to?
Tim Tebow can't throw.
Yes.
And somehow, some way, we must get to that point, that realization, that undeniable fact. He cannot throw. He's a nice guy. He's definitely a nice guy. As John Elway said, you know what? I'd want that. That's who I'd want to marry my daughter.
Yeah.
But you know something? That doesn't mean that he can throw the football. And to sit there and to say, see, here's the key here. I understand that he's big, he can run, he can probably block. Who knows whether he can catch or not? I get all of that. But he is in the NFL because he says he wants to be a quarterback. And he can't throw. How are you registered as a top 100 player in the NFL when you cannot throw the football? I'm tired of this. It is just let me listen. No, you listen. Because we've heard it, and I know you can spout out the stats. I know you can talk about how he beat Kansas City, how he came back against Miami, how he beat Chicago, how he beat Oakland, how he beat San Diego. I know that. And all he does is win games.
All he does is win games.
Even though you conveniently forget and get selective amnesia over the fact that he lost 4 of his last 5. But that's neither here nor there. He cannot throw. And to me, the fact that he is labeled a top 100 player, once again, the popularity contest has sifted down to the players, and they're trying to ingratiate themselves with Madison Avenue so they could get money making some commercial
so that's how you explain it.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
They could market themselves. That's the most preposterous
No, that was a bit of a stretch, Stephen A. Yeah, that was a bit of a
You need to
stretch.
read that newspaper some more because you need to gain some knowledge about this. This is unbelievable to me.
Stephen A., continue to read your newspaper. Coach, thanks for joining us at the debate desk. We're going to break. Coming up, the Celtics come up short in